Hey there, welcome to Parenting Hacks with Dr. Yanina. And in this week's episode, I have my husband as my guest again for the second time. And we're going to be talking about how to maintain a good relationship with your children, even though you might be having a crazy, super busy schedule. Hey there, welcome back. Thank you so much for watching. And as you know, in this show, I share one or two parenting hacks to help you have a healthier and stronger relationship with your preteens and teens. And in this week's episode, as I said, we have my husband Sergio as our guest, and I'm super excited to have you.
Awesome. I'm super happy to be here. This is my second time in your show, my second time. So very happy. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And what we wanted to do this week is just to have a conversation about how to maintain a healthy relationship with our children despite our busy schedules. Because we both have super busy schedules, you know, between doing workshops, traveling. We both have our business. And so it requires a lot of time, energy, and effort from us. But to us, it's super important that we don't let that interfere with our relationship with our children. So we wanted to talk a little bit about that. Again, we are not by any means perfect parents, and I have always told you this over and over again. I'm not the perfect mom. I'm one that is trying to get better and better every day. So, you know, there have been things that we have tried that have not worked at all. But there are other things that we have tried that have worked, and those are the ones that I love sharing with you.
And we're not the only ones. You know, we know there's so many of us, especially in the world that we live in today, where, you know, we are really busy. And it is the truth. You know, it used to be that you went to work 9 to 5 or something like that, and you get out of work and that's it. Now, because we have the platforms, you know, that we carry with us, that the office kind of goes with you wherever you go. So, you know, if you go to work, you come back and you're still checking emails, you're still getting phone calls, you're still getting, you know, waiting for that quote. You know, your brain still continues to be at work. It's
connected to work,
Even, you know, and I think especially for those as guys, you know, it's kind of really hard to disconnect from our jobs and be present where we are at.
Yeah, and that's what we wanted to talk about, because that's the reality. It's very difficult to just be mindful. We want to be mindful, we want to be intentional, but life is tough. And the reality is that we have to be very conscious about what we do. So what would you say? Let's talk about what couple of things. Maybe we can give 2 tips to our viewers, our moms. Couple of things they can do to connect with their kids regardless or despite, I should say, despite the busy schedules that they have, because dads have busy schedules, mom have busy schedules between taking the kids to practices, you know, working, cooking, putting things together, helping with homework. What can moms do? Oh, and dads, and I'm hoping that mom, you're going to be sharing this with dad too, this episode. What can they do? Maybe a couple of things. Let's talk about a couple of things.
Yeah, and it is hard. You know, for me, it is really difficult. I'm a workaholic by nature.
Yes.
I love working. So one of the first things is that you remind me all the time, right? You know, you do a great job of reminding me, you know, hey, it's time to close that thing. It's over, you know, it's time to close the office. Because otherwise, if you let me, I just keep running. I would be checking my phone right now while you were doing your show. So, you know, it is really hard to disconnect. But I think, you know, one of the things that could be done is be conscious about it. You know, because when you remind me, then I get conscious, like, oh yeah, that's true. You know, I need to be present where I am. And
so team up. If you have a partner, if you live with someone, team up.
And do it ahead of time so that it doesn't sound like, okay, you are just pointing this to me or vice versa, right? We have to agree that it's okay to remind me.
To help each other.
And I appreciate the reminder. I don't see it as, you know, you're telling me, oh, you know, you're doing this wrong. Because we have already talked about it ahead of time, and it just lets me know that, oh yeah, that is true. You know, I'm just way overworking, and I need to put that phone down for, you know, while we have our dinner, while we do the things that we need to do, so that we can connect with our kids.
Right. And that's very interesting. And you have to talk about it with your partner and be very careful about this, because if you come up as, you know, like dictating and telling them, hey, you were supposed to turn your computer off at 3 o'clock and make it like a whole argument, then it's not going to work out. So it has to be, you know, something that you both plan ahead of time and you do it in a very kind, loving way.
And respectfully, because
respectfully,
sometimes the reality that you may be waiting for a very important call, and that your job may depend on it, right?
Right.
But just that reminder, and then respecting the other person to say, okay, yes, I'll do what I need to do to make sure that we stay connected.
Because in other words, there will be times in which I can come to you and say, hey, Sergio, it's time to just turn off the computer. But you're like, well, really, thanks for the reminder, but I'm really expecting an important email. So as soon as I get that email, then I will do. So it's, it's very, very important that we're not imposing or dictating, but helping each other.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah. That's the main idea.
Yeah, that's wonderful. So there you have it. This is the first parenting hack for this week. Team up with your partner, with your spouse. And just have ahead of time, have a conversation and help each other, and to just more like remind each other and help each other. So if you don't have a partner or spouse, if we are talking about a single parent, one thing we can do is like maybe you can team up with your child, and maybe you can allow your child to do that for you. But again, as long as your child understands that we're helping each other, and it's he or she's not telling you what to do. So communication is very important. If you feel that your child can do this, maybe you can team up with your child. Otherwise, you can always have use an app, and use like an alarm kind of app or a reminder alarm app that maybe you can use to remind you that it's time to kind of close down the shop kind of thing. So there are 3 different ways you can do this, but it's important that you stop sometime during the day to devote time for your children.
Right.
Is there any other?
Well, yeah, a second one I would say. People say it's not about it's not about quantity, it's about quality. But I think there's also about quantity. Quantity is important, right? And quantity, that means that you have to keep time. That you have maybe scheduled for something to the things that matter. Right. So something I think that, for example, we like to do is at least once a week we schedule something where we all go out together, maybe it's on a Saturday or on a Sunday, or something that we can do together, even though everybody's busy and the kids now have, as they grow up and they have their own schedules at school and after school practices and so on, looking at the schedule and say, okay, what are we going to do together? Are we going to watch a movie? Are we going to and it's not always going out. It could be something that you do in the house, and something that I like to do, again, to have that kind of sense of presence when I'm here in the house, even though if I have a day in which I have a lot of work I have to do at night and I'm working, I can take my laptop and move it to where the kids may be hanging around. For example, my son's desk, he has a space there, so I have a little desk there where I can sit to and work. And although he's playing and he's chatting with his friends and so on, I don't bother him, but just having that presence there helps. We're both doing something, and sometimes I find a funny video and I show him, or he finds something funny, wants to show me.
Especially funny videos, believe me.
Right, and it's just, even though I'm really busy and I'm working, having that presence I think is important. So it's about quality, but I think it's also quantity of time. I think and time is just being together. Right.
And you're not talking about being with them 24/7 either. Because that's one thing that a lot of moms tell me, that they feel very guilty about not being able to have dinner together every day. Or, but in reality, I mean, that's your reality. So you cannot have dinner every day, but what can you do a little bit more consistent to be present with them?
And sometimes, as the kids have gotten older, going now in high school, their schedules get busy too, because they have after school practice if they're in music or if they're in some sort of sport, and so it becomes also kind of hectic. So
and it's understandable. That's why if we want to kind of summarize this hack, it's basically find the time to be together. Whether it's like be present, just identify when and where you can be together. I would say on a weekly basis, at least. So start there. And if this is something you cannot do every day, there's no need for you to feel guilty about it, because that doesn't help. Basically, guilt does not help. So instead of using your energy to feel guilty about it, use your energy to brainstorm what can you do to spend some time with your children. And it can be done together. If you have more than one child, you guys can do it together, or maybe you can spend some time with one and then the other. But but be mindful and intentional about spending some time with them.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So there you have it, our 2 parenting hacks for this week. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you for having me. Thanks to all the moms for watching. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sometimes we need the dad's perspective.
Yeah.
And
share it with your dad. Share it with your dads as well. We need as much help.
And as always, I encourage you to share the love. So if you know any other mom that will benefit from this episode, hey, go ahead and share it with them. That would be wonderful if you could do that for me. It will mean a lot to me. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next episode. Until then, have a wonderful week. Bye.
Bye.